You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, the Modoc Nation mourns the loss of its longest-serving chief.
And ever wonder how your food gets from farm to table? Our own Shagun Bombadeli takes us down to the farm to show us how it's done here in the 4 states.
And in the 4 states, we have an alert day for a freeze warning kicking in later tonight through 10 a.m. tomorrow. We're going to talk about how cold it's going to get and then this crazy warm-up on the way coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us for the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. McDonald County, Missouri authorities issue an arrest warrant for a former pastor accused of rape. They're looking for Raymond Lambert II of Washburn. Court documents show he is accused of raping a 10-year-old girl during the summer of 2013. She reported it this past August. The victim told investigators she was visiting relatives near Lambert's residence when the rape occurred. A man is dead in Berry County, Missouri after a diving accident. One of the divers from exploration group Kiss Rebreathers Divers died at the Roaring River State Park Friday morning. Now, this is video from a previous dive. According to the Missouri Highway Patrol, Eric Hahn died while staging equipment for an upcoming dive. The divers were in about 190 feet of water. An investigation into how he died is underway. There's more in this story right now at KOAMnewsnow.com. A car crash takes the life of a Pittsburgh, Kansas woman on Saturday night. Missouri State Highway Patrol reported a fatal crash along Missouri Highway 43, 2 miles north of Moundville, Missouri. Single vehicle crash involved a 2015 Ford Fusion traveling south on Highway 43, driven by 21-year-old Tori Thomas of Pittsburgh, Kansas. She died at the scene, was the only person in the vehicle. Chief Bill Folis of the Modoc Nation has passed away. Chief Folis was the longest-serving chief of the Modoc Nation. Born in Joplin, Chief Folis was a lifelong resident of Miami, Oklahoma. He attended NEO and Oklahoma State University. He also served in the Air Force. His family said in a statement that he passed peacefully at Mercy Hospital in Joplin on Friday. And Vernon County deputies receive a call that a farmer's vehicle was stolen and they were following it. A pursuit initiated by the Vernon County Sheriff. At one point, deputies with Vernon County were forced to fire at the suspect's vehicle. The pursuit continued into Cedar County, where the vehicle crashed and the driver fled on foot. Missouri State Highway Patrol helicopter was also in pursuit and was able to lead deputies and officers to the individual and take him into custody about 9:30 p.m. off of Missouri 97 near 1450 Road without incident. The name of the individual will be released once formal charges are filed. Some Joplin teens will soon start rebuilding Joplin's landmarks for Lego projects as they participate in a program called Iconic Joplin. 12 to 16-year-old teens in Joplin are able to participate in the competition that can help them discover careers by Lego building. Now, 3 different host locations, including the Public Library, History Museum, and Creative Learning Alliance, will each have 3 teams consisting of 8 individuals. The teams can choose landmarks that exist or envision a future state for a landmark.
We get sort of used to doing the same thing over and over again, and through the eyes of kids, you can see things in whole different kinds of ways. And so, yeah, I would love if the city kind of came up with some of the ideas if children choose future projects and decided to see what they could do to make those a reality.
Competition will begin in December as teams gather together and start planning their projects. Deadline and judging for the projects will be in June of next year. Carthage High School FFA hosts Food for America at the Carthage Fairgrounds Municipal Park this year. This yearly program teaches local 3rd graders about agriculture and how their food gets from farm to table. One FFA senior says teaching about agriculture is fun.
Agriculture isn't everything, and these kids are going to grow up and have to lead our society eventually, and I think it's really important for them to know where their food comes from and how things work down from the very basics.
3rd graders visited different stations at the fairgrounds that included facts about agriculture and farm animals. Coming up in just a few minutes, our own Shagun Bombadeli serves us more of this story.
Well, we've got a little weather trivia for you today, a little weather history for you today to begin our forecast. And on this day, back in 1971, large balls of fire were observed just ahead of an F2 tornado moving down the main street of Ray, Colorado. I believe this may be caused by dust particles gaining electrical charge as they're carried by the wind. Thankfully, nothing quite like that for us today, but we do have an alert day for a freeze warning that runs from midnight tonight until 10 a.m. tomorrow. That freeze warning encompasses our entire viewing area, and we'll tell you why here in just a second. You think it's chilly now, it's going to get really cold soon. 37 in Joplin with a calm wind, so it feels like 37. Beautiful sunrise, clear skies out there. 33 Iola, 37 Parsons, 38 Columbus, and 40 in Neosho, where the breeze is still lightly blowing. Wind chill of 29 Iola, 32 in Fort Scott's what it feels like, 36 in Lamar. And we do have a traffic alert for our friends in Joplin. If you're doing your morning commute, be aware that starting today, the northbound right-hand lane at 36 and Rangeline will be closed as they work on adding a new right turn lane. And general work on that intersection will continue through November. Now, going through the rest of today, we will be mostly sunny and reach a high of 56. But because we're mostly clear tonight, temperatures drop rapidly to an overnight low of 26, which is why we do have that freeze warning in effect. And a quick look at the 7-day. We're 48 tomorrow. That's as warm as we can muster under mostly sunny skies. So another very cold night tomorrow night. And then clouds build in, no rain. We stay dry, but we then heat up rapidly into the lower 80s. So we go from 48 tomorrow to 82 by Friday, a very quick warm up. So if you've got plants, keep them safe tonight and tomorrow night, and then you'll be able to put them back outside as we see overnight lows even warming up towards 70 by Saturday night.
All right, well, up next, the FDA says some generic versions of ADHD medicine, Adderall, is in short supply. We've got some alternatives for you if you cannot fill a prescription for the medicine.
And later, we're going to introduce you to Wanda White, a welding teacher who's inspiring teen girls to break some barriers. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
In Health Watch this morning, an announcement from the FDA about a commonly prescribed medicine because of manufacturing delays. The agency says there may be a shortage of some generic versions of Adderall. Mandy Gaither has more on what a health expert says you should do if you cannot fill a prescription for this medicine.
It's used to reduce symptoms of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, but the FDA says some generic versions of Adderall are in short supply.
It's the most well-established treatment for that by far. So this could be a significant issue for a lot of kids.
The agency's drug shortages webpage shows back orders for several generic forms of the drug are expected to last into March, as well as a back order on one name brand dosage that's expected to resolve this month. The FDA says one of the companies, Teva, is having intermittent manufacturing delays. While other companies continue to produce the drug, there isn't enough to meet demand. If you have trouble filling your prescription, pediatric psychologist Benjamin Fields with Nationwide Children says talk to your doctor.
There's other stimulant medications too, and they could talk about whether there's options that their medical provider thinks would be appropriate. And I would certainly have them do that.
Field says behavioral health experts can also help kids function with symptoms of ADHD. That may mean changes in things like homework during the shortage.
If a medication that they're utilizing to get through that is really essential and not available, maybe we make a call in the short term that we're going to change some of those demands.
In a statement, drug company Teva says we are fully committed to uninterrupted supply and continuing to manufacture and distribute as much product as possible each day. We are working closely with our manufacturing facility and the DEA to see what additional volume we may be able to support in the future.
Excuse me, I'm choking on oxygen, which is not a good thing. Okay, let's get through this forecast. That was bad. Pardon me. Okay, so we have a freeze warning that goes into effect at midnight tonight. Sorry about that. Runs through 10 a.m. tomorrow. And that is why we have an alert day today. So for today, though, we've got 56, mostly sunny skies for an afternoon high. As we head into tonight, we'll be mostly clear, so without a blanket of cloud cover, temperatures drop rapidly to 26 degrees, which is why we have that freeze warning. And then as we head into the 7-day forecast, we only muster 48 for an afternoon high tomorrow and another 26-degree night. So bring your vegetation, your plants, anything in that you can, and cover what else you can't. And then you don't have to do it for long because look at Wednesday, 58 and 41. We warm up into the lower 80s heading into the upcoming weekend. We've got more of the KOAM Morning News, and I'm going to go clear my throat coming up.
Local third graders learn a lesson in agriculture. Carthage High School FFA hosted them at the Carthage Fairgrounds. They taught the kids about how their food gets from farm to table. KOAM's Shagun Bombadeli has the story.
The Food for America program focuses on agricultural literacy in elementary schools and communities. It also aims to help FFA members and all agricultural education students in leadership skills development.
Agriculture is in everything, and these kids are going to grow up and have to lead our society eventually, and I think it's really important for them to know where their food comes from and how things work down from the very basics.
FFA officials tells me why teaching agriculture is important.
And without farmers and agriculturalists, we wouldn't have the world that we have today. So our goal is to teach students and impact their lives so that when they grow up, they might be involved in agriculture and make that lasting impact in other people's lives.
It's important for these kids to come and find out, that chocolate milk doesn't come from brown cows, and that there's actually different things that we use these animals for other than meat purposes, like we get wool from sheep to use clothing and just different things like that.
Less than 2% of the American population are farmers, and many students are not exposed to agriculture on a daily basis.
And so there's a big gap in between the farmers and the consumers, and what we're trying to do today is bridge that gap so people can understand why this food is produced that way, how it is done, and so there's a direct communication basically from the producers to the consumers.
In Carthage, Shagun Bombadeli, KOAM News.
Third graders visited different stations at the fairgrounds that included facts about agriculture and farm animals. Those kind of trips are so important for the kids.
Absolutely. And now is not a good time to take one of those trips, as we have an alert day for us today, as we have a freeze warning. It kicks in midnight tonight through 10 a.m. tomorrow. Our entire viewing area is under this freeze warning, so do be aware of that. Right now, Joplin, beautiful sunrise, 37 degrees. Wind is calm, so it feels like 37. Temperatures across the area not looking too shabby. So you can see 37 Fort Scott, a little chillier, 33 Iola, 38 Columbus, and 40 in Neosho as we start this day. Now, where the wind is still blowing lightly, got a wind chill of 29 Iola, 32 Fort Scott, feels like 33 in Nevada this morning. We do have a traffic alert for our Joplin drivers as you start your morning commute. If you are around 36 in Rangeline, we're not talking about the bridge here, it's something totally different. The northbound right-hand lane is closed starting today as they work to add a new right turn lane. And just as a heads up, general work on improving this intersection will continue through November. If you've traveled through there like I have many times, this work is absolutely much needed, and hopefully it'll make it a little bit safer to get through there. Going through today, a little bit breezy possible, wind gusts maybe 20, 25, otherwise sunny skies. Will reach a high of 56, and we stay clear tonight, so without a cloud blanket, our temperatures drop rapidly, 39 at 11, 34 by 2 a.m., overnight low of 26 degrees tonight. So bring in the plants you can, cover the ones you can't, because they are going to absolutely need it. All right, 7-day forecast. We only muster a high of 48 tomorrow under sunny skies, so another overnight low well below freezing at 26 degrees. And then we turn around very quickly, start to warm up. 58 Wednesday, clouds increase, no rain, but temperatures follow suit. And we get back to the lower 80s as we head into the upcoming weekend. So you can get your plants back out and uncover them as early as Wednesday, because we'll be 41 Wednesday night. We got overnight lows approaching 70 by Saturday night. Talk about a roller coaster of temperatures. Well, we've got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
It's time to honor today's four-state hero, Senior Airman Jennifer Rhodes. The Wyandotte, Oklahoma native began her service in February of 2006 and serves as part of the 60th Inpatient Squadron. To Senior Airman Jennifer Rhodes, we thank you, today's four-state hero.
Well, back from retirement to share her decades of experience, a welder in Stoughton, Wisconsin is sparking the interest of high schoolers in the area.
Tahil Mohilden shares us how one teacher and the students following in her footsteps are breaking barriers.
Wanda White certainly knows her way around a blowtorch.
You couldn't stop me. I was on a mission.
After spending almost 30 years at Stoughton Trailers, she came to be known as quite the expert.
And we don't want to stick to the table.
But as one of only a few women in her field, that respect was hard earned.
They look at your work And then they look at theirs and they say, oh, well, you know what? Maybe she can do this, you know. And I'm looking at them like, yeah, I can do this.
Now she's hoping to make it easier for other women.
They call this an overlap.
Wanting to pursue a career in welding.
I love Wanda. She was just so funny. She's been amazing.
Michaela Walk is one of 8 high schoolers who signed up for Wanda's class, Welding for Women.
It's been more than I was expecting. Honestly, I feel like I'm a grown-up adult here.
The Career Exploration course is run by the Dane County School Consortium. The group's goal is to promote non-traditional occupations among students, in this case specifically, young girls.
Turns out, women, can weld really well.
I think it is helping me not be as nervous to be able to weld with other people because it's a bunch of girls.
And these girls say they're learning a lot about how much welding impacts the world and having fun doing it. For Wanda, that makes her job all the more rewarding.
Matter of fact, I love those girls.
I took welding in high school. Not a welding for women class, I just took welding.
I did not. I think the most hands-on I got was probably a woodworking class I took. And I built a really terrible shelf.
I made, we started with small projects, but then we had to have a big project at the end of the year, and my dad still uses it to this day. I made him a welding cart for his AC/DC welder. Yeah, I'm proud to say that those welds held. They were beautiful.
All right, well, next time I need some welding done, I will come to you.
Yes, no. Maybe, I don't know.
We'll see. I don't have any
riding a bike,
projects.
right?
Yeah, it should be, right? I guess, I don't know. We do have an alert day today, though, because we have a freeze warning kicking in at midnight tonight, running through 10 a.m. tomorrow, and it encompasses the entire viewing area, as you can see. Right now, 7th and Rangeline, beautiful sunrise, 37 in Joplin. Feels like 37, because at least in Joplin, the wind has calmed down a bit. We've got 35 Yates Center, 32 in Iola, 36 Parsons, 38 Miami, and 37 in Neosho as we start the day. Where the wind is still blowing lightly, say Iola, for example, 27 is what it feels like, 31 in Fort Scott, and 34 in Parsons as we start this day. Quick traffic alert for our friends in Joplin as work continues at 36th and Rangeline in Joplin. Starting today, the northbound right-hand lane will be closed as work begins to add a new right-hand turn lane. And then there's general work that'll be taking place to enhance and improve this intersection, and that's going to run through November of this year. So do just be aware of that if you're traveling in that area for the next several weeks. Mostly sunny skies, a little bit breezy, otherwise not bad, 56, but because we stay mostly clear tonight, temperatures plummet to an overnight low of 26, which is why we have that freeze warning in effect. And tomorrow, all we can do is reach a high of 48, so very fall-like. We'll drop back down to 26 tomorrow night. And then after that, clouds build in, no rain, but we end up getting back into the lower 80s by the time we reach the upcoming weekend. We've got more of the KOAM Morning News coming your way.
4 States' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:27. Ascension Via Christi is closing its Fort Scott Family Medicine Clinic on November 11th. Its emergency department will remain open. As that clinic closes, Girard Medical Center is stepping in. They'll take over the practice at 109 South Main Clinic. Anyone who goes to the family clinic and wants to continue receiving care there must request a transfer of medical records. Phone number to call to make that happen is on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, a new restaurant is coming to Pittsburgh. KOAM has confirmed that Ihop, the International House of Pancakes, will open a restaurant in Pittsburgh sometime in mid-2023. It'll be at 200 West Centennial, and that's where Gusano's Pizza used to be. Ihop says it'll announce an exact opening date as it gets closer. The Maple Leaf Festival is one of Carthage's longest traditions. After a week of events and activities, the Maple Leaf Parade closed out the annual celebration. Marching bands, trucks, and local businesses paraded around Carthage's town square. After the parade, a tractor show was held in Central Park. The Maple Leaf Tractor Show is a tradition that has been passed on for generations.
Almost since the inception. I don't know how many years that was, 20 or 30 years ago. Yeah. We have been here almost since it started. My grandson, Ethan Brummett, he's in training right now. He's 10 years old, and he's learning all this stuff, how to operate all of it, how to work on, how to start them and things.
Of Of course, KOAM also had a float in that parade. Festivities ended around 5 p.m. Saturday night. SEK Humane Society held its Bark in the Park event on Saturday. The event gave dog owners the chance to spend time with their four-legged friends along with other dog owners. There was a dog show, a dog walk, paw painting, and other activities. Also, there were 3 dogs at Bark in the Park that were available for adoption.
I don't know. I just think that it's really nice that they bring a lot of people together, like even if you don't have kids and you have dogs, or, you know, it's just an event that literally everybody can enjoy. They have vendors for everybody here, food here. It's just a really fun family event.
If you're interested in adopting a pet, you can contact your local Humane Society. Well, some Joplin teens will soon start rebuilding Joplin's landmarks for Lego projects as they participate in a program called Iconic Joplin. KOAM's Yana Hatula is at one of the locations that they might recreate. Yana joins us live with more.
Lisa Nelson came up with the idea for the competition. When she was building with Legos with her son, she realized younger generation does not really know about the landmarks and history of Joplin. She came up with an idea to use Legos, engineering, and STEM practices as a way to help 12 to 16-year-old teenagers discover careers by building landmarks with Legos. This can help them decide what they want to pursue in the future.
Middle schoolers are a critical audience to reach, to understand what they're interested in and give them some exposure to how they can take those interests in math and science and engineering and tech and what those careers would look like.
The competition will start in December as teams will gather together and start planning their projects. The judging will happen next year in June. Live in Joplin, Yana Haudala, KOAM News.
Well, Yana, thank you. And thank you for braving those chilly temperatures out there as well. Well, historic school northeast of Parsons, Kansas is now open again. KOAM's Carrie Worthen has the story.
It's going to school here.
The history of the schoolhouse far predates the visitors' time here as students. It was built in 1877 and efforts to restore it go back more than 50 years. Roger Pruitt with the Oak Grove School Historical Society says much of the work has been done in the last 30 years, but the majority has been done in the last 5 years.
So the whole intent of restoring this school is to set it up so that we have a program of Kansas history for 4th grade school students. And so they'll be able to come out here and have a living history experience.
Oak Grove has a connection to the Ingalls family portrayed in the books and TV series Little House on the Prairie. Baby Grace, played by Wendy Lou Lee, visits the schoolhouse for the first time.
I was invited to Kansas for this open house to promote this amazing one-room schoolhouse that is historic and it has a great significance for Little House on the Prairie and the story of the Ingalls family going west.
Oak Grove was built on the Osage Trail, the route that thousands of migrating settlers followed into Kansas after the Civil War. When you stand in front of the Oak Grove Schoolhouse, you stand upon the same route traveled and frequented by these determined pioneers.
And they crossed the river, the Neosho River, just a mile and a half east of here, and then came up through section 25 into this section, section 36, and crossed right here in front of this school location.
The school may look a little different, but to the students who attended Oak Grove School, the memories are forever.
Standing up here on this stage, this room doesn't look nearly as big as it did whenever we were in grade school and doing a play or something up here.
Now the schoolhouse where generations of students receive their education can provide a lesson in history for future generations. In Parsons, Carrie Worthen, KOAM News.
Oak Grove has been listed on both the Kansas and National Historic Site registers. You can learn more about the school on our website at koamnewsnow.com. This morning, we're discussing politics and civility.
Recently, a Department of Transportation message board in Boston was vandalized to display an expletive followed by Biden.
The department's public information officer says the display was up for about an hour before they could respond.
And the investigation will include contacting the contractor to discover the last person responsible for the message board.
Short-lived vulgarity got plenty of reaction from social media and to calls to state offices and newsrooms.
And that brings us to our question, should political opinion be a bit more civil? 79% of you say yes, 21% of you say no. Make sure you vote through our website, through the app, and take part in discussion on our Facebook page. Talking about civility, I was just reading an interesting article out of Birmingham from KCTV in Kansas City. So the Tennessee Volunteers played Alabama over the weekend, and they won. They had snapped a 15-game losing streak they'd had against Alabama. Well, the fans for Tennessee then stormed the field, and so now the SEC is fining Tennessee $100,000 because the fans not only stormed the field, but they ripped the goalpost out of the ground and then tossed it into the Tennessee River.
Okay, there's something called sportsmanship, and it
that
applies
was not.
to the fans in the stands too. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, so Tennessee is doing some crowdsourcing to try and raise money to replace the goalposts, but it just impressed me too that they managed to carry the goalposts to the Tennessee River and throw them in there. So sometimes, a little excessive celebration. So you got to keep your sportsmanship civil as well. Quick check of the forecast. We have an alert day today because of the freeze warning from midnight tonight until 10 a.m. tomorrow. It's for every county in our viewing area. In Joplin right now, beautiful sunrise, 37, feels like 37. Temperatures across the area, 35 Yates Center, 32 Iola, 37 Columbus, Pittsburgh, and Neosho, 38 in Miami. A little bit of a wind chill out there, 27 Iola, 29 Yates Center, feels like 31 in Fort Scott. Now, as we go through today, we will eventually reach a high of 56 degrees under sunny skies. Freeze warning is in effect because we will drop back down to 26 under mostly clear skies tonight. Quick check of the 7-day. We only make it up to 48 tomorrow and another below freezing night Tuesday night. And then as you can see, we have a warming trend. Clouds build in, no rain. We start to reach the lower 80s by Friday. Got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this. Well, the same drought that has stopped traffic on parts of the Mississippi has been a blessing to historians. Extremely low water levels have revealed a shipwreck that had been lost to history for more than 100 years. Calista Mistrin has the story.
In downtown, tucked behind the banks of the Mississippi, is where you'll come across this, what's believed to be the Brook Hill. What's left of it is nearly fully exposed, a discovery Patrick Ford didn't intend on making.
This past Sunday I was out here looking and realized that the rest of the shore had washed away and there was an entire ship there.
Ford comes to the riverfront to look for artifacts, but when he saw this, it was a surprise he wasn't anticipating.
I immediately text friends and was like, holy moly, I think I found a ship, a sunken ship.
That's when he reached out to experts who have known about the shipwreck for some time. Chip McGimsey is the state archaeologist. He says the ferry boat has some history here in the city.
We believe this is a ship that was manufactured in 1896 in Indiana.
Brook Hill and its sister ship Estruma served as ferries.
The Estruma was the day ferry across the river. The Brook Hill was the night ferry across the river. We're within probably 100 feet of where the ferry landing was.
At that landing is where its destruction happened.
On September 29th of 1915, there was a major storm. Both ships sank.
Brook Hill stayed grounded to the shore, and work to recover it began in the years to come.
In 92, they did some limited investigations and could look at very small pieces, basically sort of 1 or 2 foot wide parts of it, try and get an understanding of how it was constructed and how old it was.
Archaeologists had some troubles.
At that time, it was not nearly as exposed as it is now. It was still largely buried in mud, and they had to do a lot of digging to even see little pieces of it.
Drought-like conditions are bringing water levels to an all-time low. Banks once filled with water, now filled with little pools sitting stagnant. That and what's been underwater for quite some time.
The opportunity now is to get a much better idea of how they actually built these early boats.
He says it's an aspect of history there isn't enough of.
For the most part, there are not good documents on boat building, especially once you get back into the area of wooden ships.
Studying what's left of half the ferry's hull, they'll use pieces of the past to shed light on what Ford says is often overlooked.
Well, I think a lot of times folks don't realize how rich our Louisiana history is.
And how easily it can be found.
Explore your surroundings. Get to know where you live and what's around beyond just what's in front of you. Take a walk. See what's out there.
Well, beyond learning more about the history of ships on the Mississippi, archaeologists say they're also learning more about the history of Baton Rouge. We'll be back with another look at your forecast right after this. We do have an alert day today for a freeze warning that takes effect at midnight tonight, runs through tomorrow at 10 a.m., and that freeze warning encompasses our entire viewing area. Right now in Joplin, though, if you think it's cold now, just wait. 37 degrees, mostly clear skies, as you can see. The wind is calm, so it feels like 37. We've got 32 Iola, 39 Chanute, 37 Columbus, and 37 Neosho and Carthage. But where the wind is still blowing a bit, say Iola, for example, it feels like 25. 30 in Fort Scott, 31 is what it feels like in Nevada, so a bit of a chilly start to your day. We do have a traffic alert for our friends in Joplin. As you begin your morning commute, be aware that at 36 and Rangeline, the northbound right-hand lane is going to be closed as they work to build a new right turn lane. And so a heads up, there will be general work taking place to enhance and improve this intersection through the month of November. Now, as we go through the rest of today, we've got clear skies, maybe a bit breezy, otherwise not bad, 56 for the afternoon high, but we hold on to the clear skies. So without a blanket of cloud cover, temperatures drop rapidly down to 26 degrees tonight for an overnight low. And as we look at the 7-day forecast, we only muster a high of 48 tomorrow. And then we get back down below freezing tomorrow night. But then it doesn't take long before clouds build in, no rain. But as you can see, temperatures warm up rapidly into the lower 80s as we head into the weekend. So we go from 58 Wednesday to 73 Thursday, 82 Friday, and 80s through the weekend. It also means by Wednesday night, you'll be able to put your plants back out, uncover that vegetation, because overnight lows go from 41 all the way up to near 70 by Saturday night. Now, here's Tanya Bach with Consumer Watch.
Well, Apple workers in Oklahoma have voted to form the second ever labor union at one of the company's U.S. stores. The National Labor Relations Board's preliminary tally on Friday evening had the vote at 56 to 32. That's 64% of those casting ballots at the Penn Square Mall Apple store voting to be represented the Communication Workers of America. This comes 4 months after Apple store workers in Towson, Maryland formed Apple's first ever unionized U.S. location. Votes in Maryland and Oklahoma are more signs that organizing efforts are gaining traction in the tech and retail industries and elsewhere. Workers at both locations said they unionized to have more of a say in how their stores are run. Some also said they were inspired by recent union pushes at Amazon and Starbucks. Two big grocery store chains are joining forces. Kroger is merging with Albertsons in a $24.6 billion deal, creating one of the largest grocery store chains in the country. Between the two of them, that's nearly 5,000 stores in 48 states and D.C. Bigger might not always mean better, though. The higher ups are hoping bigger will mean more competitive, especially with giants like Amazon and Walmart. The merger is expected to close in early 2024. Well, a luxury fashion house is charging hundreds of dollars for a bag of chips, minus the chips. All right. Lay's posted these photos on Twitter showcasing a particular product from a recent Balenciaga fashion show. Some of the models could be seen walking the runway with unique bags inspired by Lay's potato chip bags. The bags come in at least 3 different designs, but they will not cost you around $4 like the ones at the grocery store. According to news reports, the leather Lay's chip bag cost around $1,800. Hard pass. We'll be right back with more after this, but first let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell. A pricey $28 Taco Bell lunch for just one person, has ignited a fast food fight.
Jeannie Moose reports.
It was a comment that had heads spinning like a chalupa in a Taco Bell commercial. A wealth management executive named Scott Martin was on Fox Business trying to make a point about inflation.
Yes, I had a nice lunch at Taco Bell. Cost me about $28.
Wait a minute. You spent $28 at Taco Bell for just yourself?
For lunch, yeah, it's true.
Holy tacos! Folks started tallying what you could get for $28.
That's a lot of chalupas.
As one guy tweeted, if you eat $28 of Taco Bell, you hate your colon. Someone else wondered, how is that even physically possible? Also, don't think I'll take financial advice from this guy. One skeptic offered a challenge.
Film yourself eating $28 worth of Taco Bell in one sitting, no cuts.
People imagine their dream $28 Taco Bell meal, one taco, 48 Cinnabon delights. Even Taco Bell itself chimed in. To show you can get a lot of burrito bang for your buck, 14 times $2 burritos equals $28.
How much do you spend at Taco Bell normally?
I don't know. I've never ordered sober.
One guy drove himself to the nearest Taco Bell drive-thru.
We found exactly how this man spent $28. And that's on them party packs. This man ate a whole party pack by himself.
Apparently not. Scott Martin ended up tweeting out what he says was actually in his $28 order. A hefty list consisting of burrito supreme, nachos, large drink, tacos, and cheesy gordita, plus tax. What? No combos to save money? And this guy is in wealth management?
Ay, ay, ay.
Ginimos, CNN.
Ooh.
New York.
See, we have two different complete responses to this. Mine is, clearly he does not shop the $1 and $2 menu because Taco Bell actually has a $1 menu, unlike any other $1 menus at fast food restaurants.
So the thing is, though, is when he shared his list at the end of that story, that is exactly what I do. Because I talked with Amber about this, and I'm like, I'm not kidding. I can spend $30 on just myself because I want like 2 or 3 Doritos Locos tacos. Tim's telling me that I'm not the only one because I want the 3 Doritos Locos tacos. I want some chalupas. I want a Crunchwrap Supreme.
You clearly don't go to Taco Bell when you have your kids with you then.
No, this is for me.
Yeah.
And then I get like, so I also pair it up. For each item, you need 2 mild sauce packets. So then I just, I count it out. I know that's kind of crazy, but I'll sit there at the bin. I'm like, okay, I got like 12 items, so I'm going to need 24 mild sauce packets, and I will split it up and count it out.
See, I purchased enough things to fill 4 people up. That was like 2 or 3 things a piece, for 4 people, and it was under $20. Easy.
Well, okay,
Easy.
So they do have the $5
now, here's
fill-up
the thing
box.
is, you don't do your drinks there. You go through a different drive-thru of a different place that has dollar drinks.
I get the extra large Baja Blast. It's the only Mountain Dew I like is the Baja Blast, and that is how easily you can spend that money because that guy in his list, that was my list. A few more of those items, but that's my list. I just like Taco Bell. I couldn't really
Well, the next
tell
time
you
you're
why.
looking for an extra quarter for the vending machine soda, I'll remind you how much you spent at Taco Bell.
Here's the deal, though. I can tell you, I go to Taco Bell like once every quarter.
Okay.
So it's a very rare trip because I spend so much there. Quick check of your forecast. We have an alert day for freeze warning goes into effect midnight tonight through 10 a.m. tomorrow. 56, mostly sunny today, and then we'll drop back down to 26, a cold 26 under mostly clear skies. When we take a quick look at the 7-day forecast, we only muster a high of 48 degrees tomorrow. Another below freezing night Tuesday night. You can see clouds build in, no rain, but temperatures rise rapidly behind that as we see highs back into the lower 80s heading into the weekend. We're back right after this.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Here's what's happening today. Residents of Stockton, California expressed relief that a man suspected of killing 6 men and injuring a woman in a series of shootings over several months has been arrested. 43-year-old Wesley Brownlee was taken into custody over the weekend. Authorities are still working to determine a motive. Murder charges are expected to be announced after his arraignment set for tomorrow. Iranian state TV reported that at least 4 people are dead following a fire that erupted inside a prison holding political detainees, including at least 2 Americans. Flames and thick smoke rose from the prison in Tehran. The fire ignited as nationwide anti-government protests triggered by the death of a young woman in police custody entered a 5th week. And the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation says it will commit an additional $1.2 billion to the effort to end polio around the world. The announcement was made at the World Health Summit in Berlin. Part of the money will be used to stop outbreaks of new variants of the virus.
All right. Reminder, we have an alert day today as we've got a freeze warning that goes into effect at midnight, runs through 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Through the rest of the day, mostly sunny skies, 56 degrees. Heading into tonight, here's why we have that freeze warning. Temperatures drop back down to 26 under clear skies. Look at the 7-day. All we can do is muster a high of 48 for tomorrow, another overnight low in the 20s. And then after that, clouds build in, no rain chances, at least not right now, and temperatures return to the lower 80s by the time we head into the weekend.
Well, father and son fishing off the coast of New Jersey got a big surprise this week, a hungry humpback whale.
Zach Pillar and his dad were fishing for bass and tuna when suddenly the massive whale breached the surface and crashed back into the water right next to him. The whale actually tapped their boat, causing it to rock back and forth, but thankfully nobody was hurt.
Juvenile humpback whales have been spotted more frequently along the Jersey shore in recent years.
Humpback whales, that's what they had to save in the fourth Star Trek movie. They had to bring them into the future, you know, to save Earth. Humpback whales. They're big whales. Well, they're big whales.
That would have been a cool sighting. Yeah.
It would have been a very cool sighting to actually see them in real life in person. Thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We're back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great morning and an even better day.